guys, Stephanie here with New Tricks Dog Training. I'm here again with Penny. We're going to go over the prong collar heel. So I just wanted to go over a few little tips and tricks before we get started. One of the really important things when doing prong collar heel is kind of finding the correct way to hold the leash for you. What you want to do is the best way for a lot of people, and you can kind of mess around and find your own way of holding the leash. One of the important things is being able to provide the right amount of pressure to put the pressure on, pressure off, because it's not supposed to be very hard pressure. It's supposed to be pretty light. So what you want to do is kind of gather the leash in your hand, and you don't want it to be activated, like, you don't want to feel the prong going up. You only want it to be on when you're kind of telling them what to do. So you want to make sure there's a little bit of slack. A lot of people, the best way for them is to kind of gather it up in their palm and then hold it like a bicycle handlebar is how I've heard it said. And that way when you're engaging the prong, you're kind of using your middle or your ring finger and your pinky to kind of, vroom vroom back. You'll probably see me holding it a little differently. A lot of times I hold it in my right hand. My personal dog, I walk her on my right side. But Penny's gonna be walked on her left. You gather in your hand, left side like this. And you wanna walk confidently. You don't wanna kind of be hovering and be nervous. So shoulders rolled back. Your little bicycles don't go vroom, I guess. But your bicycle handlebars. I've seen other people gather it up and pinch it, which is kind of what I do. So I get kind of that flick back or light pressure on back. I have pretty good dexterity. I'm a knitter, so that's kind of, I'm used to having that kind of like tension. I find that a lot of people have a tendency to joystick their dog if they're holding it kind of like a fist. That's usually not the way I recommend it to people who are doing this for the first time. I recommend kind of the bicycle handlebar way. One of the really important things is that you don't want to constantly have this engaged, pulling your dog every which way. You're going to kind of overload them. They're not going to be able to turn the pressure off, and they're going to get really confused, because that's kind of what the previous exercise, the prong collar dance, was for, to explain to them that you can turn this off. I'm trying to give you directional feedback. You also don't want to give too much slack. I see people, by the time your dog's pulling ahead, you're engaging way too late. They don't really understand the point where it went wrong, so timing's really important. You want to just kind of keep it with a little slight U shape. Another important part of the prong collar heel is deciding where you want your dog to heel. Personally, I prefer dogs a little bit behind me, right about where she is. That way they can kind of take directional feedback from you again. They have your body language to work off of. It's not just the prong collar directions. Some people like their dog's head right at their knee. It's personal preference. It's whatever works for you. You'll kind of get a better feel of how your dog does on the walk. So let's get started, guys. One of the big problems people have when they're teaching their dog how to prong collar heel is every time the dog goes ahead, they kind of want to stop and pull their dog into place. But what you really want to do is keep walking and move your dog into place. So it's kind of like a fluid action, especially at first. They're going to keep doing it. So you just want to gently, you're not yanking your dog, you're not joysticking them, but you want to keep an even pace so they understand that this is a moving command. I'm bad. You notice I'm a terrible walker and continuously walk very wavy. And in the beginning, you're going to find yourself doing a lot more back and forth than you would later on. That's because the dog doesn't know this yet. That's why we haven't put a word to it. We don't tell her heel yet because she doesn't know what that means. You're kind of creating the situation for what that means. So you have to give the context before you give the command. And some dogs you'll have, after you start doing this, they have a tendency to walk farther behind you. And you can eventually correct for that too and kind of bring them up. But in the beginning, I really focus on not walking ahead. That's what you'll notice. I'm not walking very fast. Part of it is because I'm being videotaped, but the other part of it is that dogs want to go fast. They're kind of, a lot of times when they haven't been trained, they're very all over the place. They kind of want to go see what's up. A lot of dogs are very excitable, and this kind of forces them to think about what you guys are doing. It kind of shifts the focus back to you after you start doing it. That's right, you just kind of want to do this kind of like a drill somewhere quiet. You don't want to do this at a dog, like at a park where there's a lot of dogs. I definitely don't recommend going to dog parks. But yeah, you want to, like, if you have any quiet streets by you, I like doing this on pavement before doing it on grass because there's not as many smell distractions. But yeah, you just want to do this 20 minutes, an hour, just kind of until your dog understands what information you're giving them. You can kind of see Penny's still scanning a lot. A lot of dogs will want to sniff around and stuff. And in the beginning, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but once they start understanding what's expected of them, you'll want to kind of guide them out of that kind of stuff as well. And we'll go over that some more. But, yeah. So I'm looking for Penny to stop behind my knee. You can see right now she's still obviously pulling ahead. It's been all of 3 minutes. But we'll come right back and I'll show you what it looks like after a dog has been working with the prong collar for about 30 minutes, an hour. I'm going to show you guys a really quick drill. As your dog starts to kind of understand what heel means, you can start marking it. So I'm going to show you figure eights. Helps your dog understand that heel still matters when you're turning. Kind of helps solidify the concept. Let's go. Heel. That's just one drill you can do to kind of help start solidifying the concept of heel for your dog. This was Penny 10 minutes into a session. First session, she's already not pulling. My arm doesn't feel dislocated. It's one of those things. It's gonna take more than 10 minutes to get a really solid heel. But you can see what a huge difference that is from being pulled down the road already. You guys can do it too. As your dog begins to understand what's expected of them, it won't be so much of a pulling back motion on the leash. It'll start becoming light pops once your dog starts actively trying to do something else or tries to lunge. It'll be a firmer pop, so that's kind of where the tension comes in. I don't demonstrate that on other dogs. Penny here is pretty smart. She really picks up on the prong collar pressure on, pressure off pretty quickly. I'll send another video of what she looks like after the rest of her session. And I'll talk a little bit more about what to do if your dog doesn't seem to be responding to the prong collar.